Everybody, welcome to Matt Men, your source for all things professional wrestling, and this is our 2022 prediction show. I'm joined by the Nostradamus of professional wrestling, Rich Stambolian.
What's up? I'm going to predict the future of pro wrestling along with Andrew Zarian. That's you.
That's me. I'm Andrew Zarian. A lot happened. Obviously, we just did our best of and our worst of, and it kind of leads into what we think is going to happen this year.
Yes.
And there's a lot of predictions here. I have some crappy ones that I'll add every now and then, but I want to concentrate on yours, Rich. You have some. MG Geek has some. Jonathan has some, and I think there were some predictions from the audience. If we could get to that, we're going to do about 20 minutes here of predictions for 2022, and let's see what comes true. And then maybe next week we can find out what we had predicted for 2021 that we forgot.
Sure.
And go back to that because I'm curious what we had and what we got wrong or what we got right here. But where do you start, Rich? Where do you want to go?
I'll jump in with my big prediction. I think Bray's going to debut on TBS next week, possibly.
Oh, you think next week? That's a bold, very accurate. Not accurate. I don't know anything. Very, very, very on the nose of a prediction.
Very.
You're aiming for that bullseye. You're not trying to come in the vicinity of it.
No, I work hard and I play hard, and you know what they say. I'm gonna use all the dumb cliches. Go big or go home. Work hard, play hard. Measure twice, cut once. I think Bray Wyatt debuts on TBS next week, possibly ruining the Bryan Danielson Hangman match.
Oh man, you know what? I love that. That's a wonderful prediction. All right.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say, and you have one here that I'll tie in. You're saying go into your next one, and I'll go after that.
At some point during 2022, Bryan Danielson will win that AEW championship.
I'm gonna say yes to that. That's my prediction also. But I'm also gonna say that we will get a Danielson CM Punk title match.
Ooh,
okay.
I would love that. You know what? I'm gonna go. I've said this on the show also before. I think we're going to get the world's greatest tag team between both of them. Heel CM Punk, heel Bryan Danielson.
I would love that
and they're just going to go nuts on the tag division. Towards the end of the year, though.
Towards the end of the year. You know what? I would love them in a tag division. I have a prediction that I think is gonna happen, and that's we're going to get a trios title this year.
Yes.
In AEW. You can kind of see the writing on the wall with that because of all the hints that they're dropping. They're constantly using the term trios now.
Yes.
Over and over again. I like your next one, Rich.
My next one is Roman Reigns loses that belt in huge fashion.
All right, give me the example.
It's like the loss of all losses. Like no Usos, no Paul. Well, Paul Heyman's done. No Usos, no outside help, no outside interference. I think he drops the belt, but he drops the belt to set up him versus Rock at some point.
Okay, who does he drop it to? Who
That's a good question.
Drop it to?
That's a good question. I feel like they're gonna just put it on Brock, but I don't want to see that. I would love. This is again out of left field, a unification. Him and Big E. Big E takes it.
Listen, I would love nothing more than one title belt in that company. I don't like the two world title situation. I don't like it when anybody does it, to be honest. I think the world title needs to be the world title, and if you're the champion, you're on every show. Just how it works. I feel like that double title thing is like, well, if this isn't really hot, then at least we have this. Like it just becomes like a crutch to book poorly. Big loss. Does he hold on to it for another freaking year? And
that was one of Jonathan's.
Yeah, I mean, I could kind of see that. That's a good one. I don't know. I would say he'll lose the title this year too. I'll agree with you. I would predict that also. I mean, that's an easy prediction. Drew.
Okay, that's interesting.
I'll go with Drew.
I wouldn't be. That's not shocking to me. That would be a letdown for me, to be honest. As much as I love Drew.
Okay. Let's see. More NJPW crossover with AEW. That's another one of your predictions. I think that's going to happen.
I think it's going to happen. The smoke's going to clear. You're going to get Okada.
So MG Geek, our producer here, Matt, has a bunch of them. I'll read his, and I want to get your reaction, Rich. Brock Lesnar wins the Royal Rumble.
That's a possibility. I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I think this year needs to be this coming Rumble needs to be like a new guy who hasn't won it, like a Finn Balor.
Okay. MJF wins the title at Double or Nothing. That would be in May.
That would be nuts.
Which I think we're going to.
All right. Yeah, you know what? I could see that happen. I think that would be a shocker. I think at this point they could afford to do that. Right?
Or we get Danielson and CM Punk at that show.
Would love it. That would blow the roof off the place, right?
That would definitely blow the roof off. Tay Conti wins the title this year. I don't think so, but that's MG's prediction.
I'll agree with MG on this.
Okay. Tony Khan will put on a large stadium show featuring multiple promotions this summer.
Would love it. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would love to see that.
So, I mean, listen, that kind of was a concept for All In, you know? That was always the concept for it. Mm-hmm. You know, what can they do in a large stadium? I think there's a lot of moving parts. There's one, how hot's the product? What are your two top main events? How many people can you fit in that building? You know, there's a narrative that first AEW All Out, you know how there was like 70,000 people or 100,000 people in queue? You know, then that turned into the narrative that they should be doing a stadium. They shouldn't be doing smaller buildings for the big shows. Can they do 20,000 people? Oh, definitely. 30,000 people? Maybe. It's hard, dude. Like, I don't think people realize how difficult it is to fill a building up like that. You know, WWE with all its resources and its prestige and its, you know, mainstream following is not able to do 60,000 people on a regular basis, you know, for mega shows.
I do think they could cap out at 45.
Maybe they can. I would say
45.
You know, 30s are good. I mean, that's a lot of people in a building. The buildings are not as big as they used to be either. You know, like
so
skyboxes take up space and VIP suites take up space. So, you know, like, you know what? I like this. I think that they could do a stadium. I think that they could definitely do a stadium show with like 30,000, 28,000 people.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with my own experience on this because I have a lot of friends that don't really care about wrestling. So I'm going to give you this example, right? The Arthur Ashe show. My wife wanted to come with me. My buddy Alex, his girlfriend, her brother, and Alex's brother. That's 5 extra people that do not care about wrestling, but the buzz is so strong with AEW that they were like, yo, if you get tickets, like if you can get us tickets, we'll go, you know?
Dude, that Arthur Ashe show. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for the stadium, listen, I'm just one guy, but imagine all the other wrestling fans out there that have friends that don't care, that are like, yo, if you go, we'll go with it. You know,
I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people that you're absolutely right, that aren't really mega wrestling fans, but they went because of the buzz around it. And again, I think for AEW, it looks close enough to a wrestling that they understand.
Oh yeah,
and I think a lot of that has to do with that. Like if you watch WWE now. It's still wrestling, but you could tell like the production is so up there. When you watch AEW, like the production is up there, but it's a lot more of a simpler setup, and it kind of it brings up the memories of the 90s and the early 2000s and what wrestling kind of looked like and kind of how it felt. And, you know, there's that little bit of that WCW nostalgia and that Attitude Era nostalgia. So there's a lot of things happening with them. Stadium show, I think that Arthur Ashe is going to be a regular thing for them.
Beautiful.
It's just going to be when can they book the building, because they have a very short window. They can't really use it that well in the winter. And you really can't use it when the tennis association's using it. So you're going to have to find the sweet spot. So if they make this a September thing every year, love it. Fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Another one of his predictions is that GCW gets a TV spot. Bold prediction. What do you think?
Very bold prediction. I wouldn't say a TV spot, but definitely streaming. I think they would if they can get like what NBA does with YouTube. Fantastic.
Interesting. Here is Jonathan's predictions. Liv gets more effed up by no title reign than Braun. So what he's saying is they're going to screw up Liv's push by not putting the title on her.
I think she gets the title.
You think so? I think so too. I think
she gets the title.
Liv's been a focus here and she works hard. Roman holds the title for another full year. A lot of people are predicting that. Gable Steveson wins the Rumble. I don't think this year. He can't do it this year.
2 years.
Maybe he means 2022 Rumble.
I also feel like, unfortunately, they're going to release Gable Steveson within the next year.
I don't know how well that's going to work out. I hope it works out great.
Yeah, I hope it works out for him, but I do feel like, WWE, if you look at the writing on the wall, right? WWE signed all the indie people a couple of years ago because they were afraid of AEW, et cetera, et cetera. Now they released all of them, right? Who's to say that they already made a big deal signing this guy, right? They did all the media, they got all the press. Who's to say that 6 months down the line they release him for no reason?
I got a prediction for you.
Go ahead.
Matt Cardona shows up at the Royal Rumble.
Ooh, I'd like that.
Me too. I'd like that too.
You don't think he's done with WWE?
I don't know. Just a silly prediction.
All right.
Pulling something out of my ass. He said Orton Riddle have a match at WrestleMania night 1. Okay, that's a good prediction. Bad Bunny shows up at the Rumble. That's a possibility.
Decent prediction, yeah.
Yeah, and I break 5 TVs over booking decisions. I think that's
so violent.
So violent. What else do you have, Rich? Anything else?
That is a good question. I do think we're gonna get a really insane rise of Adam Cole this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go into some match predictions.
Sure.
Easy prediction. Steve Austin is involved with WrestleMania in some capacity because it's in Texas. Maybe Taker shows up because it's in Texas. Let's see what else. Here's a match. You're gonna have a 3-way between Hangman, Kenny, and Danielson.
That's the 3-way that makes my head explode.
That you're gonna have that 3-way. Does Okada show up this year?
Yes.
Okay, let's go with that.
Okada, Tanahashi, all these guys show up. At some point, I think Mox is getting that U.S. title back.
Okay. And
unfinished business with a lot of these guys.
A lot. And I guess we'll do the we're going to finally get the Rock WrestleMania match.
I would like that. I wouldn't mind seeing The Rock come back for like one giant match. They worked in that dumb Red Notice egg.
I know.
We're
going to get the setup. I don't think we're going to get the match at this year's WrestleMania because of that dumb egg stuff. Stupid. So
it's
dumb.
ridiculous. Did you watch the movie?
No, my father watched it.
It's a lot of fun, very dumb, but Vince having the egg makes zero continuity sense with the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. It's going to be a very interesting year. It really
Andrew,
is.
what are some of your match predictions for the year? Like, where do you see the WWE title, not the Universal title?
WWE title. I think Edge is going to get that title.
Okay.
I think we'll see an Edge title reign.
Mm-hmm.
What if that match is Edge and Goldberg? By the way, Goldberg has a final match, which we're going to get this year, right?
You know what? Edge versus Goldberg would be a lot of fun. Spear versus Spear.
You think Goldberg's like, hey, Austin, let's do it. Come on. Just freaking let's do it.
And Austin goes, new phone, who this?
You know what? You know what we're going to get?
What?
We're going to finally get on mainstream TV Jeff Hardy and Matt versus the Bucks.
Ooh, that's a good prediction. That's a solid prediction.
We'll get that this year. I would say early half of the year we'll get that.
I wouldn't mind straight up Hardy Boys, Jeff and Matt, right?
Yeah, Hardy Boys, Jeff and Matt, yeah.
I think Ruckus needs to start working on a new Hardy Boy style theme. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I like that. That's my favorite. If in the Hardy universe of themes, that's my favorite one.
Version 1? Really?
Yeah, version 1. That's it. That's all.
With this thing?
Yeah, terrible.
I also want to see the return of Broken Matt, and I want to see Willow on AEW TV with the umbrella and the whole nine and the get up. Jeff's the new leader of the Dark Order.
Yeah. I mean, listen, man, we could. Who does Bray become the leader of the Dark Order? I mean, that would be interesting, and you have him feud with Hangman.
I think at this point that would just be a letdown.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Bray. I think it's tough because you already have your who's to say he's going to come out as a spooky guy, right? You already have your king of the spookies in Malachi Black.
Yeah, you do.
Right? Brody King's debut is imminent, so he's going to be like spooky follower number 1, right?
Yeah.
The Dark Order aren't even spooky guys anymore. Like they went from like a cult to
comedy,
a corporation to comedy, still comedy. They keep it light and airy, even though they're supposed to be like the Dark Order cult, right? Yeah. There's no spookiness there. Who's to say Bray Wyatt doesn't show up classic, like Cape Fear style with the t-shirt, the shirts and all that stuff? I don't know, man.
There's a lot of cool stuff looking in front of us, like it's 2022 is going to be a very fascinating year. And by the way, it will be the first year, knock on wood, hopefully, right? That AEW has an uninterrupted year of touring.
Yeah, knock on wood. Hopefully that does happen.
In the history of the company.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? It's still a fresh company for the most part, but it's a testament to them that they've been putting on so many great shows and so many great matches, and their upside far outweighs the downside. Most of our best of worst of, they made the list a couple of times, but not as much as other stuff.
I'll give you a bold prediction here before we wrap it up. There will be a viable third company for a lot of these signees to go to.
Bold.
I'm going to go with that.
All right.
I think someone's going to realize that they could really capitalize on this in some way. And not saying that's going to be successful in any way. I can't predict that, but I do think somebody's going to realize, like, oh crap, look at the available talent that exists.
Yeah.
Because listen, Tony Khan can't sign all these guys, nor should he.
Right. Exactly.
Because if he could, like, you got guys like Buddy Murphy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not signed.
No.
Japan stuff, but he's not like really on AEW. He's not on AEW TV.
He's doing Japan stuff.
He's doing Japan stuff. There's a whole lot of these guys. You're like, man, they're fantastic, but there's so much great talent out there. Now you got to be picky. So either this is like we're gonna get a big indie pop again. The indies are gonna explode once again, or Impact Wrestling is gonna explode from benefit from this, or Ring of Honor could come back into something really cool with all these guys, and girls. So we'll see what happens. Hey, prediction next year this time, who's the AEW Women's Champion?
Ooh, next time this year, who is the AEW Women's Champion?
Yeah.
So, end of the year next year.
End of the year next year.
Penelope Ford.
Ooh, nice. Interesting prediction.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm going to go with... who do I go with? Let me think. Tony Storm. Let's go with Tony Storm.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Crazy.
All right.
We'll see what happens. All right, guys. Those are our predictions. That's it for 2022. Wow. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Give us your predictions. Nice and quick. Nice and easy. See you next time. Take care.
Later.